Hey guys, so today we'll be learning about graphing relationships, and we're also going to include domain and range. Remember that the domain is the x values and that the range is the y values. So that's something you're going to use all throughout math and almost every math class you take now. So for this first question, it says, how many total miles did the car travel? So we have to look at, let me scroll down a little bit for you guys. We're looking at, those are the hours, and these are the miles. So when we're doing it, right here, the person traveled from A to B. And the car traveled A to B, it went up to this 25 spot. So that's how we're going to end up doing number one. We have to go A, B, B, C, C, D, D, E, and so on throughout the whole graph. So let's start making our list. So for AB, they went 25. Then we go BC. BC went down, but I don't really mind that it went down. You still have to figure out how many miles it went. So it went from here down to 0. So again, it went 25. Then we go CD. CD didn't travel any miles because remember the miles are over here on the y-axis. So I have to be going up or down to be traveling miles. So for CD, it's 0. DE is the pink line. So that goes from 0 all the way to here, which is at 55. Okay, next we're going E to F. E to F. Again, it's not going up or down any. It's just a horizontal line, so it's 0. F to G. So right here, yes, it's going down, but again, just like before, I don't care it's going down. I'm going from here to here. So I'm going from 55 to 45, which is 10. And then lastly, G to H. G is at 45. H is at 95. 45 to 95 is 50. So once I figure out all the pieces of the graph, I don't have the total yet. It wants to know the total. So you have to add them all up. And if you add up all these little pieces, you should get a total of 165 miles. Okay, next it says describe the motion of the car between 5 and 11. So let me erase some of all my marks on here. So now we're looking at 5 and 11. So our 5 is E, our 11 is F. So I need to know what happened right there between E and F. So it's not going up and it's not going down, which means the miles haven't changed at all, which means the car is sitting still. So it's not going up or down, which means the car is sitting still. What direction is represented by line FG? So FG is right here. So what direction is represented? Well, it's going down, but we don't say down in math, we say decreasing. So it's the amount of miles is decreasing. The amount of miles is decreasing. Okay, what are the dependent and independent variables? So the independent is the x-axis. So the independent is the x-axis, and in this case, that's hours. A lot of the time, the independent will be a time. Hours, minutes, days, years, something like that is usually the independent. The dependent is the miles, because it doesn't matter how many hours I went, hours is going to continue, right? Time doesn't stop, but your miles can stop and go. It depends on your hours. And your miles is your y-axis. Then it says state the domain and range. So yesterday we did answers that had these little curly brackets on them called braces, but today we're not going to do those because those were just numbers like points. This is a continuous graph, and it's time, so you can't have negative time. So for our domain, that was our x-axis, our hours, we're going from 0 to 20. So 0, 20, you're going to stick your x in the middle, and you're always going to do less than or equal to symbols. So that's how you will most likely see the domain and the range will be similar on graphs like these. The range, though, instead of having an x in the middle, it's going to have a y in the middle. And my range went from 0 again all the way, not to 100 though. I have to look just at the graph. So the graph ends right here, which is at 95. So it ends at 95, not 100. Even though the graph is labeled to 100, it stops at 95. So it goes 0 to 95. Our last question for number 6 is which lines represent 0 rate of change? So we already did one, that was line EF. And there's another one, line CD. Next, it says identify the correct graph that matches the situation. So number 7, I left my house for work, stopped to eat breakfast, then continued on to work. So there's only one graph out of A, B, C, and D that shows stopping. Remember, stopping is a horizontal line, just like up here. CD was 0, they stopped, and EF. So for 7, it has to be B. Then we have, I left my house for work, realized I was late, so I drove faster. I left my house for work, turned around because I forgot something at home, and then continued. And then I left my house at work and had to slow down because the traffic was bad. Out of those 3, 8, 9, and 10, I definitely know number 9. I left my house for work, turned around because I forgot something at home, and then continued to work. That has to be A, because you're going to work and then you're coming back. You're going back home. This right here is home. No, I put in the wrong spot. So that was number 9. Number 9 had to be A. Okay, then I have that I left my house for work and had to slow down. So now I'm at C or D. So you're driving and then you're slowing down. And the other one says you're driving and then you drove faster. So remember, faster is going to be a steeper slope. So faster has to be D and slower has to be C. what time did the bayou reach its highest point? So its highest point of the graph is right about there. If I figure out, because it says what time did the bayou reach its highest point, if I can draw a straight line, that's over 5.5, but less than 6. So I'm going to say that's about 5:45. It reached its highest point. Right there is the highest point. Then it says, when did the bayou raise the fastest? So we're looking at the slope. We're looking at the graph where it's going up. So it's going up there. And it's going up on the second one. So out of, we'll just label it 1 and 2. When did the bayou raise the fastest? So you're looking at the steepest slope. So that's number 2. So that's going to be an interval between 5 and we'll say about 5:30. 5 and 5:30. And then when did the bayou decrease the slowest? So now we're looking at where it's decreasing the graph. So it's decreasing right there. And it's also decreasing right there. So out of those two, which is decreasing the slowest, that means I don't want a steep hill. So if you were a person running, here you'd go almost straight down. Here though, that's a nice little hill you can run down. So decreasing slowest is going to be this section on the right, which is between 5:45 all the way to 8 o'clock. Okay, you can find the rest of the answers for your second page and for your third page on Canvas. Just go find the answer key and read the questions and finish filling it out with my answer.